This is the Comprehension subtest that is on the WISC-V. All you will need to administer this subtest is your record form and your administration and scoring manual. Now, this subtest is another verbal task in which you really don't need much to administer other than these two items. The point of comprehension is you're asking the child to answer questions based on his or her understanding of general principles and other social situations. There are different start points for comprehension. So for individuals ages 6 to 11, they start on item number 1, whereas children ages 12 to 16 actually start on item 3. There are reversal rules for those that start on item 3 that are similar, if not the same, to other reversal rules present throughout the test. And there is a discontinuation criteria of 3 consecutive scores of 0. So again, just some general directions. You can repeat items as often as necessary, but you should not alter the wording. Again, if the child provides you with a response that is unclear or too vague, you can ask, "What do you mean?" Or if there's a query, obviously you can respond with, "Tell me more," or "What do you mean?" What we're going to go into in this task that is a little bit more complicated than others is that there's this idea of what's called general concepts that are present within the answers that the child can provide you. These are basically the key ideas that are associated with credible responses based on the question that you ask. So items may indicate a single general concept or 2 general concepts that need to be talked about by the child in order for them to get the full amount of points. So items with 2 general concepts are noted with what's called a section mark, which looks like a little $ symbol on your record form and in the manual. So for items with 2 general concepts, and this would include item 5, 7, and 18, a 2-point response must include references to both concepts. And so for these items, you should follow the guidelines with query responses, as necessary, that are located within your manual. So that might be along the lines of, if the child's first response refers to only one general concept, you can then say, "Tell me another, thing you should do, or reason why you should, or problem with." If the second response refers to the same general concept as the first, you should not ask for additional responses. Items 1 through 4 are teaching items that are identified with the cross symbol on the record form and in the manual, and this is where, again, you would be providing corrective feedback as necessary if they did not provide a perfect response score of 2. So again, when we're actually talking about how to administer this on our record form, again, what we see starting here at number 1 is it would just say a word. So in this case, it's just teeth. What you need to do is actually go to the administration and scoring manual and actually look at what the question itself is asking. So you can see here for item number 1, it says, "Why do people brush their teeth?" And what they have directly under that is what says the general concept. So again, the general concept that we're looking for in this one that you want the child to speak to is that they have a recognition that brushing one's teeth cleans the teeth or prevents decay, disease, cavities, and other dental problems. It has then 2-point responses that then outline what some acceptable responses are. We have our 1 points with queries as needed, similar to the other verbal subtests, and then of course the 0-point responses. Followed then here at the bottom by the cross symbol for the corrective feedback should the client not get a perfect score on this item. Now, for some of the items that actually require 2 general concepts, we'll go over one here, and that is item number 5, if I can actually get this into frame. So for item number 5, we see the question is, "What should you do if you see thick smoke coming from your neighbor's house?" Now in this one, the child needs to answer both of the general concepts. The first one being is that they have a recognition that appropriate emergency services such as the fire or police department should be notified, right? And then they have some of these responses down here that would be acceptable for that. The second general concept then is that they have to have an identification of an appropriate activity performed until the emergency services arrive, such as calling for help, go to see if your neighbors are okay, and vice versa. So then what is laid out here for how you actually score this is that a 2-point response is a response that reflects both of the general concepts. A 1 point is one that only reflects one and then 0 being any of these other responses and appropriate queries as needed. What you would be doing then within your actual record form is, you see we have a lot of blank space here because this is another one in which you would be writing verbatim what the client is saying to you. And then obviously followed up by scoring it appropriately as a 0, 1, or 2 point response. So that is comprehension. If you have additional questions, please feel free to reach out to your instructor. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.